Hey, how's it going, everybody? New video. Been 3 weeks. The last one, and I talked a lot about the book "Unfuck Yourself" by Gary John Bishop. There's 7 chapters, 7 concepts, one for each of those chapters. The first one was "I'm willing." So the question I often ask myself is, "Am I willing?" Every time I come face to a decision, if it's the intensity of my exercise, if it's something I want to eat, am I willing to do what I need to do to 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 um, to lose the weight? And so the answer is always yes, I am willing. And when I say that, yes, I am willing, well, it permits me to make the right choice when I hit that crossroads. Now, the second chapter, I didn't think it would take this long before I went into the second chapter. I thought I'd do like one a day, which was I was considering was taking my time because usually I read the 7 chapters in the same day, and I'm always in a hurry to get going. But yeah, so I decided to take my time, but I'm really taking my time now because chapter 2 is like 3 weeks later. So what's chapter 2? Well, chapter 2 is I'm wired to win. Now, you hear that the first time, and you kind of go, okay, sounds like a bullshit line to me. I'm wired to win. Like, I got willpower. I can do whatever I want. But when you read the chapter, you realize that he's kind of saying the opposite. Which means, takes me, for example, because this is about me, all these problems that I have to lose the weight, and I'm not losing it, and staying at the weight I am is in a way what's safe for me. It's what my body's used to. So when I have that auto-sabotage mechanism come into play to destroy any progress that I've made to bring me back to where I was, it's as if my body has won, because that's what it's wanted. So I'm wired to win, yes, but I'm wired to stay where I am at, or stay where I keep staying at, because my body's used to that, and it's what it considers its own safety zone, if you want. Does that make sense? So what do? Well, you're trying to change that wiring to wire something else, and work to win at that. So basically, I don't know if I explained it properly, but it's basically that's what it means. So I'm not going to go too far into that right now because I got other things to deal with. I met with my doctor today, and I spent an hour with him. Too bad for the other people that followed me, because they obviously saw him later than they were supposed to. So we really talked a long time, and I'd like to get into that discussion and explain a few things, because I've been feeling a little bit of a frustration lately. Now, and when you look at dieting or losing weight or eating well, properly exercising, well, when you want to lose weight, I guess there's the first part, which is the loss of weight, and then once you get to where you want to go, then it's to maintain that weight, which is a lot more difficult than the first part. So in the past, I've always been good at, let's call it Act 1, losing the weight, and I've done it. If I back up more than 5 years ago, 6 years ago, before then, there's at least 4 or 5 times in my lifetime that I lost between 45 to 65 pounds over a very short period of time. The last one being 6 years ago when I did that big contest with Nautilus, and I lost 65 pounds in 12 weeks. That's even less than 3 months. But I did it, But every time I lose the weight, then it's Act 2. It's let's maintain that weight. And obviously that's a lot more difficult. And I always failed at that because, well, it's simple. So, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. You eat in a certain way, it brings you to a certain weight. So then you lose weight, you change everything you do it different to bring it down. But then once you get there, you lose the weight, you go back to eating the way you ate before. So what's going to happen? You get right back to where you were. So I've been up and down that yo-yo a lot of times. Now the thing is, in the last 5 to 6 years, now I don't know how many times I tried to lose that weight and some of it comes off. It's going well, and then this auto-sabotage mechanism that I've described many times jumps in and destroys any progress that I've made, and instead of just being in Act 2 and not succeeding in maintaining, I don't even get to Act 2. I don't have time to get to Act 2 because while I'm in Act 1, I do something to destroy any progress. I never get to that point. I haven't gotten to that point in a very long time. Now, I've worked a lot on that. We've talked about this. I've talked about this in these videos. It's my biggest problem, and in the last year, I finally found a way to keep that at bay. I have to be careful. It's obviously not very far, but yeah, I can recognize it. I can see it happening before it happens. I cannot let my mood become darker or somber, which at that point, I don't care if it happens, so I let it happen. So I've worked a lot on that, and it's done well. And I've brought also some important changes to my life. That maintaining that Act 2, I'm there, man. I mean, I've met so many nutritionists in my life and talked to so many trainers, and I know how to eat better. And that's what I've been doing this year. I've constantly eating better, not only to lose weight, but just because that's the healthier choice. And it's the same thing with the exercise. In the past, I've always exercised for 2 reasons. It's always an obligation. It doesn't come out of fun. It doesn't come out of pleasure, not out of habit. It was if I want to lose weight, I exercise. The second I lose that notion of losing weight, not only do I eat a lot more, but I stop exercising because that was the purpose. Or when I get ready for an event, which like a triathlon or biking from Montreal to Quebec City, well, that's when I start exercising a whole lot. And the second the event has passed and I've completed it, well, no more exercise. Where now, a big difference is that I've really developed the habit of exercise, and a lot of times I get the enjoyment out of it too. After a good workout, that feeling, it's a great feeling. You know, sometimes in the weekends, a Saturday morning, I go out for a swim, and then I go to the gym, good workout, go in a sauna, nice sauna, relax, a shower, and I walk out of there. I am so energized, it's like 8:30 in the morning, but man, I'm ready to tear. And so these are all great things. Now, I brought these changes mostly this summer. I started these videos in May, and so I brought these changes as the summer went by. I've talked about it a lot in my videos. All kinds of things happen in the summer. You want to enjoy yourself. My vacation as well. So yes, I was careful. I was kind of like in Act 2. You know, I was like in maintaining mode. It's like eating better, watching what I ate, but enjoying myself as well. So I wasn't losing the weight, and it was kind of expected because, so that was all okay. And we were good. And I learned how to not be perfect, that it was okay not to be perfect, and to let these things happen and just keep going after and not let any deception come in to become dangerous, to wake up any auto-saboteur or whatever you want to call it that's inside of me. So, good, yes. Now we get to September, all right? September, and in the past, every time I've lost a lot of weight, or every time I decide to tackle something like this, it usually happens either in September, right after the summer's over, it could all fall, or it happens right after the holidays, like in January. And so So I switched it into high gear. I think that's how I called it too. So I switched it to high gear. And what was that high gear? I watched a lot of my carbs. I watched my calorie intake. I was eating like 1,500 calories a day. That's not much for a big guy like me, let me tell you. And I was exercising like crazy. I mean, I go to the pool 2 to 3 times a week. I do spinning 2 to 3 times a week. I do my gym workout 2 to 3 times a week. That's 6 to 9 workouts a week while eating 1,500 calories a day. You do that for 2 months, and you keep jumping on that scale, and the number's not changing. It's not coming down, or it's coming down by small crumbs. Now, I'm doing the exact same thing I've done in the past, and it's not coming down. And it's not because I'm cheating, or it's not because I'm letting myself influenced by my auto-saboteur or whatever else. It's just not happening. So all I want is just to lose the weight so I can get to Act 2 and then maintain, just concentrate on that. But Act 1's not working. Talk about irony, man. So what's worked in the past is not working anymore, and what's not working in the past is working now. Fuck, what the hell? So I'm human, and even though I've come a long way, and I've had these videos, and I've come to grasp a lot of things that I've described over and over again. Time goes by, and the more you move forward, and the more you're not moving forward and staying at the same weight and doing everything right. I'm human. I mean, after like 2 months of like just going all out and being in high gear and not seeing that weight come off, it's like, what the hell is going on? So what is it? And I mean, I'm not stupid. I mean, that's not the right word, but I understand certain things. Let's put it that way. Now, I'm older, so my body's maybe not reacting as well as it used to because I'm older. Maybe my metabolism is not as effective as it used to because I've been so hard on it with my big yo-yo up and down in weights and stuff. But there's something, it feels like my body's working against me. And it's been described to me before by my nutritionist. In those periods of time where I've lost weight, I tend to be drastic. And let's say it bluntly, I starve myself, or almost. I put in just enough just to get by and have enough energy to do my exercise, and it works. But then when I stop doing that, go back to eating the way I was before, well then my body stockpiles because my body knows that Marty one day will starve it again. Wants to make sure that he can put away as much as he can before he goes back to that mode. So, and then when I go back to that mode, it's like my body's used to it. So now it can prevent me from losing weight. So how is that possible? So this is what I talked about with my doctor today. And, I was ready to do something drastic now, something medical. I don't think I was up to the point where I'd go for a bariatric operation, but I have one of my cousins who he didn't have the operation, but he worked with the bariatric department, and they made this shake for him that has exactly what you need, the nutrients of this and that, and it's a form of keto because it's to get into your body into ketosis. And he basically drank this shake, and only this shake, for 3 months at a time. Why did he do that? Because he's going through a lot of the stuff that I'm going through, I'm sure, and he wanted that big block, that big drop of weight, so then once down here he can maintain. So I was ready to go there, and because this is kind of frustrating, and I can feel that frustrating starting to grow, and To be honest, the last week or two, I've been eating as well as I was before. I've been letting go, and it's just because of this frustration. I can feel it. I haven't done the extreme excess like I've done in the past, but, you know, what it's going to happen if I'm not careful. So anyway, so we talked about this, and my doctor looks at my results, and this is the thing, you know, my cholesterol is perfect. My heart is pumping well. Done the electrocardiograms, everything's going well. My pressure is perfect. My pressure's like 120/70. For a big guy like me with all the extra weight that I carry, it's like, what the fuck, man? So I just, all these nice indications that I'm in great health, but I'm obviously not in great health. So with all this weight that I carry, and I do feel more fit. It's less of an effort to do certain things, even though my size is not changing. And it's not a question of like replacing fat with muscle. My measurements haven't changed. You know, sometimes you'll build muscle, so you won't lose weight, but your measurements are changing. You got less fat, more muscle. But I do the impedance or whatever they call it, le body that they say at the gym, and it hasn't changed. I mean, so still same percentage of fat, still same percentage of muscle. So it's not that. It's really just not coming off. So we discussed it a lot, and one of the things in my blood work that comes out is my problem is sugar. You know, I'm careful with the fats and the different types of fats and stuff, but when it comes to sugar, I get a big sweet tooth, and desserts are big for me. And it shows in my results because my triglycerides are right up there. They're borderline. They're there, and diabetes is borderline too. So it's the glycemic factors in my blood work are borderline. Now, when you look at my cholesterol, the LDL it went down. It's like so much in the safe zone. It's funny. But the HDL, which is the good cholesterol, went down as well. And normally the HDL should go up as things get better, and it hasn't. Now, this is what indicates to my doctor that you put that together, the HDL going up with my triglycerides that are borderline, diabetes borderline. So it's an indication that my body, and I've heard this before, that's anyone who knows the intermittent fasting program knows that your body can become insulin resistant, and that's what seems to be happening in my case. Which means I eat carbs, I eat sugar, I eat whatever that brings up the sugar level in my blood work, in my blood. Well, my body creates insulin to bring that blood sugar down. Now, because my body is insulin resistant, that insulin does not work. It does not bring down the blood sugar. And when the blood sugar does not come down, it prevents the burning of fat. It even stocks fat. So, how do we solve this? So he asked me if I knew intermittent fasting. I almost laughed because, of course, I know intermittent fasting. I know every other diet that's out there. I've been intermittent fasting, ideal protein, keto, the cookie diet. I actually went on the cookie diet, which to eat 6 cookies a day, and these cookies tasted like shit. Tastes like sandpaper, and then have a small meal at dinner. And I did that, and I lost a lot of weight with it too. But, anyway. So I've done it all. So I've done intermittent fasting. One of the reasons I've done it because part of me likes it. I'm lucky in the way that I'm never hungry, or I'm rarely hungry, except when I'm going off the deep end, and all I want to do is eat. But even that's not true because I'm not hungry and I still want to eat. It has nothing to do with hunger. So for someone who goes intermittent fasting, a lot of people find it hard because, I do it from noon to 8. So that's when I eat. At 8, I stop eating. I won't eat till noon the next day. So a lot of people in the morning, they'll be hungry and it'll be hard for them to wait till noon. But me, it's not hard. So, so that's not a problem. Now, like I said before, my diabetes is borderline, and so he decided to put me on meds for someone that has diabetes, which will help in this insulin resistant problem. So you put those two together. The intermittent fasting works because since you're fasting and not eating anything for 16 hours, there's no creation of insulin in the body. And top that off with the meds that he just gave me, that should help bring down the sugar levels in my bloodstream, which will help get rid of the visceral fat, which is the fucking gut that's here. And the fat that's very dangerous and unhealthy. So I'm ready. All I always need is just a straight line. I need a plan. I need to know exactly what to do, and now I have it. So will this work? Well, we're going to see, because I'll stick to it. I've been sticking to everything else, and the weight hasn't been coming off. So if this makes the difference, well, thank God, because I'm, doing all this work and not seeing results. It's not easy. It's not easy, especially since my mind is set on getting these results. And even though it's not a question of patience either, I don't have to see immediate results, but I'd like to see at least some, right? So that's where we're at, buddy, boys and girls. We're ready to fight. You probably can feel my animosity. I'm very, yeah. Yeah, well, okay, so here we go, buddy. People, wish me luck.